നമസ്തേ. കർണാടകയിൽ നിന്നുള്ള തീപ്പൊരി യുവജന നേതാവാണ് തേജസ്വി സൂര്യ. പക്ഷേ കർണാടകയിൽ ഒതുങ്ങി നിൽക്കുന്നില്ല അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഒരു പ്രശസ്തിയും ആരാധക വൃന്ദവും. കേരളം അടക്കമുള്ള അന്യ സംസ്ഥാനങ്ങളിൽ ഇത്രയധികം ആരാധകരുള്ള യുവജന നേതാക്കൾ വളരെ വിരളമാണ്. വെൽക്കം ടു ജനം TV, Tejasvi Surya ji.
Thank you.
Are you aware of the fact that there is so much of demand for your interview in a place like Kerala? We keep getting requests. When are you getting Tejasvi Surya interview? Why are you not getting Tejasvi Surya interview? Which is why I flew down all the way to Hyderabad. I know this is going to be a hectic trip for you. There's so much demand.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. And to all those who are requesting for this interview, a lot of gratitude and a lot of respect from my side. Thank you so much for this love and affection. It gives me more strength, more energy to work much harder for this nation.
Now, I was with Guruva Reddy Garu yesterday, and I heard him coordinating the rally where you are heading right now. About 5,000, 6,000 youth are ready there for a bike rally in an attempt to capture Gajwal. So, after your state's elections, you've been running the length and breadth of the nation. What is the feedback? What is the mood of the nation?
Sir, wherever we are going, whether it is Karnataka, whether it is Telangana now, whether it was Maharashtra earlier, the phenomena that is Narendra Modi is only increasing. In the world's history, there are many world leaders, many popular leaders who have faced one election successfully, two elections successfully. And by the third time they go to people, there is some kind of a boredom that sets in, some kind of anti-incumbency that sets in, some kind of a general voter fatigue that sets in. But here in Narendra Modi ji's case, the enthusiasm of the people, the enthusiasm of the average voter is only increasing every day. So instead of an anti-incumbency, we are going with a pro-incumbency, positivity amongst the people. So all across the country, we are very confident of a superb performance of the BJP. Especially in the south of India, this is going to be a historic record election this time.
Now, when you come to the political parties and their claims during elections, there are cliched claims like so many people have been brought above the poverty level, etc. But here in this case, this government is returning to the people with tangible results like so many roads built, so many houses built,
Correct.
so many people getting electricity. So has that been the hallmark, the change that has been brought into the nation by the first and second Narendra Modi government?
Absolutely. See, the amount of transparency, the accountability to the voters who have elected this government, this is what makes the Modi government unique and special. You spoke about the number of people who are brought out of poverty. 25 crore people have been brought out of poverty. It's not a small number, sir. 25 crore means many European nations' populations put together. So many people have come out of poverty. And this has not happened with a magic wand. From the first day in office to today, the efforts are continuously on. Starting from opening of bank accounts for people, bringing more than 52 crore people into the banking system, expediting the Aadhaar seeding of the bank accounts, the Digital India Network, the Make in India schemes, the PLI schemes, the Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana, of making available capital to the weakest and the poorest through Mudra Yojana, PM Swanidhi. You tell me, when was the last time street vendors in this country got collateral-free loans from nationalized banks? Banks were treated as properties of the elite,
Yes.
of the English-speaking, suit-boot-wearing people. But today, banks are the backbone of the poor man's enterprise.
On the basis of his bank account, his account balance.
Absolutely.
And are you also aware of the fact that obviously you would have heard that one famous ex-finance minister in the Union Ministry and one famous ex-finance minister in the Kerala Ministry ridiculed this?
Absolutely.
They ask the same question. So will you go to the vegetable shop and...
It indicates how disconnected from reality, disconnected from the grassroots, the political leaders of the Congress party were for so long. So unfortunately, people of this kind ruled over this country for more than 6 decades. And the poverty that you see in India even today is because of the deliberate policies of the Congress party. Nani Palkhiwala once said that India is not poor by chance, that India is poor by choice. So for a long time, that is for almost 6 decades, the kind of policy choices that our political leadership, that is the Congress leadership, made for the country was a recipe for perpetuating poverty. And even now, this whole talk of inheritance tax, this whole discussion on redistribution of wealth, this whole discussion on taxing the, conducting an X-ray of, wealth in the country. All of these show me one developing country which has come up with these kind of ideas. So this anti-business, anti-enterprise, anti-free market thoughts that the Congress party, ideas that the Congress party perpetuates, this is the reason for this country's poverty.
Now, since you spoke about the free market, I'll jump to one question which I had kept for later. You have spoken about the milk war, the resistance when Nandini stepped into the Kerala market. There was a huge resistance in Kerala. Similarly, the Congress resisted the entry of Amul into Karnataka. Are you of the view that you should allow competition and give the choice to the people to pick the best?
Absolutely. India is such a large domestic market. Any product that is, meeting the demands of the consumer, meeting the demands of the quality that the consumer is expecting, must have a fair opportunity in the market. So whether it is Nandini, whether it is Milma, whether it is any other milk brand, they must have an equal opportunity to go to any part of the country and market and sell their products. That is not only going to encourage competition, healthy competition amongst our brands, but is also going to make the consumer more, demanding in terms of better quality, in terms of better pricing. So at the end of the day, the Indian consumer is going to benefit. Indian companies are going to benefit. The Indian farmer is going to benefit. So instead of this, if you are going to make it, as a war between two states, then it is a loss for both Milma and for Nandini.
Right.
And at the end, it is a loss for the consumer.
Right. Now, going to your, debut in politics, filling the shoes of somebody like Anand Kumarji was not easy. But then you came out with some, flying results, over 3.3 lakh of majority. And you became the youngest MP from BJP. Were you nervous? I'm not talking about facing the electorate, but were you nervous while stepping, into the parliament, whether you would be able to fulfill that,
Yes.
the kind of task? It was not
Yes.
a joke for a person like you.
Sir, for a young person like me, I was 28 years old then, the Prime Minister, the party, they repose so much of faith. I will lie if I tell you that there have not been, instances where I have not had sleepless nights. There have been many instances where I have woken up in the middle of the night and thought, oh my God, this is such a big responsibility. How do we handle this? But one thing about working with people is that the more you are connected with people, the more you are working with them, the energy that gets rubbed off when you are amongst the people, when you see people having so much of faith in you, when you see your party's leadership, your karyakartas, your public that have voted for you, when you see them having so much of faith in you, then you will start believing in yourself more. The last 5 years has been a steep learning curve for me. I have learned new languages, I have understood the processes of the parliament, I have tried to understand how the government works at various levels, how to handle meetings, how to deal with officials, how to, understanding the party culture, traveling all across the party at a national level. So it has been an incredible learning experience for me. I'm extremely grateful that, I got an opportunity of this kind at a very young age to understand all of these things. The party has a great mentorship culture, so I have benefited from mentorship from a lot of senior leaders. I have got an opportunity to travel almost all over the country. So all of these has definitely, made me a better human being, has made me a better person. I think that is most important.
Now, I've been through your website also, and I saw the list of projects. To me, you look like less and less of a conventional politician MP and more of a CEO or a project officer, picking up this project, following up on that, picking up the next project, following up on that, updating the developments, updating the construction that's happening, the next phase of metro. I'm not going to list out everything that I learned. So where did this particular, shall we say, SOP rub into you?
I think the biggest inspiration for all of us is our Prime Minister. The country has perhaps not seen a leader like him in the last, 70 years of our existence as an independent nation. Every time we get an opportunity to interact with him, every time we even listen to his speech or an interview, there is so much for a young political activist to get inspired from. The comprehensive manner in which he thinks, the integrated approach of finishing one thing that leads to another, building on top of that. So I think a great inspiration for me has been the Prime Minister's approach to work, his hard work, his ethos towards work, etc. In addition to that, also having worked in a professional environment earlier as a lawyer in a few law firms in Bengaluru, that I think has also given me the a professionalism that is needed to work and approach politics. And also there have been very many officers, whether it is IAS, whether it is the Karnataka State Services, some very fine officers with whom I have got to work with. And many of them, are late 50s, early 60s, very senior officers with whom I have learnt a lot. So I believe, sir, if you are a young person and if you keep your eyes and ears open to learning, the world will teach you in multiple ways. So the more you learn, the more you grasp, the better you get at work that you're doing.
The constant criticism was that politics was a field or a profession for somebody who can't make it anywhere else. Now we are seeing people like Dr. S. Jayashankar, people like Ashwini Vaishnav, becoming ministers and handling it, as you said, in a professional manner.
Yeah. So for that, again, you need the leadership that picks and chooses and gives them, people like this an opportunity. That is why Narendra Modi is Narendra Modi. If today, a youngster like me has got an opportunity to come to Parliament, we won because of the Prime Minister. If somebody like an Annamalai can quit IPS and come and join the party and is doing so well for the party, it is because of the leadership the Prime Minister is giving, the encouragement he is giving. If somebody like a Jai Shankar is picked up, somebody like an Ashwini Vaishnav is, groomed and given an opportunity, it is all because the Prime Minister is redefining the way the country's politics is. So I think it all boils down to that, because whether it is, in a school, or whether it is in a small company, or whether it is for that matter in your own house, the leader of the house, the CEO of the company, the teacher or the principal of the school, so the head of the institution, they determine the culture. And for a nation and for a polity is the Prime Minister.
Since you mentioned Annamalai ji, once again, I've read about a special relationship, a special bonding with two leaders from the South who was no more limited to their own states or even the South, and in great demand across as star campaigners. What is the relationship between you and Annamalai ji? Like, both are not typical conventional politicians.
I'm extremely lucky that I had got to associate with him and get to know him even before he came into politics. He was a very popular IPS officer in Karnataka from my own home district of Chikmagalur earlier.
Single.
And then when I was, contesting elections for the first time in 2019, he was the DCP of Bengaluru South. So he was very popular even in our constituency that time for the work that he was doing. Now it's more of a, an elder brother, that kind of a relationship. The kind of enthusiasm, the commitment that I see in him, his single-minded focus of wanting to bring BJP to power in Tamil Nadu, the craze that is there, around him today, it is amazing. I feel so happy to see him, grow in a meteoric way in politics. It's amazing. We need more and more people. That's the only way India's destiny will be much, much different. I mean, this is what makes BJP different. This is the kind of politics we want. This is so different from what the Congress promises. So we need 100 more Annamalais in all over the country. That's when India's politics will change.
He simply destroyed one notion, not an unwritten one, a written code that if a national party has to be part of the power, not even come to power in Tamil Nadu, it needed the support or be, ride piggy bank on one of the Dravida parties. He said no.
Yes.
And this after his En Makkal Yatrai, the kind of outpouring, the way he was attracting people like a magnet, it's magical.
Absolutely. And you always have to challenge the status quo, the accepted norm, to bring in a big change. You cannot tread the same path that has been, taken earlier. So in that sense, he's a path breaker. And I'm sure this is just the beginning. We are going to be witnessing historic change in Tamil Nadu. Historic.
Your father has been a bureaucrat, he has been a government servant, but then politics is not alien to the family. Your uncle was an MLA 3 times, I believe.
Yeah.
When did you get that calling, like, this is my field?
Sir, to be very honest, from my days in school, I was interested in politics. The very first election I contested was in 5th standard in my school. So I have always been interested in politics, in working amongst people. So though ambitions have been impersonal, in the sense of, I wanting to do something for Hindutva, something, for the country's people at large, using politics as a platform to, make India more stronger and more prosperous. So though these ambitions are impersonal, the interest has always been that, I must work with people, fight elections. So this has always been there. So I had, like I told you, my first elections that I contested was in my school.
So talking of school, Wikipedia says as a 9-year-old boy, you sold some pictures and donated that amount to the Kargil fund.
So during the Kargil war, I was in Belgaum that time. My father was working in Belgaum, so we were all transferred there. So we were living in Belgaum. Belgaum sends a lot of people to the army. So one of the days, one of our neighbors, who I was playing with, her dad became a martyr in the war, and the body came back. And it was an absolutely, defining moment for me, because it just shook me and made me understand, okay, this is the kind of sacrifice somebody has made for the country. So then I walked up to my father back at home, and then I asked him, okay, can we do something to help this family, help them? Then he told me about the Kargil War Fund. Then he told me, whatever you are in life should be on your capacity and your basis. So if I give you money, it is my money that you are giving to Kargil War Fund. What can you do? So then I said, what can I do? So I had a habit of making paintings and everything, drawings. So my father told me, why don't you do some drawing and painting, which you anyway do as a hobby. Go and try selling these. Tell people that you want to give money for the Kargil Welfare Fund. If people buy it, go and donate it. That way, contribution will be yours and not your father's. So I went about making some paintings, went and sold a few paintings, raised 1,000, 200,000, 300 rupees, and then went to the DC office and made a contribution for the Kargil Welfare Fund. So 2 lessons remained with me from that episode. One, that we need to respect and fight for the people who are fighting for the nation, for our armed forces. Second, whatever you do on your strength in life. Do not be a parasite on your father, this, that, anything. Whatever you are, it should be on your ability and your hard work. These are 2 lessons.
Is this why you tell the youngsters, you first find financial stability before stepping into full-time politics?
Absolutely. See, politics is a very demanding profession. So in a profession like this, if you are dependent on politics for your livelihood, there are multiple chances where you may do the wrong things and tread the wrong path. Politics should not be your bread and butter. So I always say that if you you are aspiring to be in politics, then find a source of income which can take care of you, your family, your dependents, so that you don't go behind any politician asking for wrong favors. Because if we are coming to politics as a young person, you must come here to bring some change, not to continue doing the same old nonsense that many people have done in the past. So if you are coming here to bring change, you must be in a position where you are not going to give, make out your hand outside for anything that is wrong.
So, one thing that is not so well known is your prowess in Carnatic music. When did you start training? Do you still train? Do you still sing?
I have just, when I was young, my father was pushing me, my mother was pushing me to learn some music, like it's in many traditional homes in the south of India.
Yes.
So, I think in almost all the 5 southern states, exposure to classical music at a young age is across families. It is some kind of exposure is given. So I learned some classes, took some classes in the when I was in primary school, etc. So now I am more of a listener, a connoisseur of music. I don't get much time to practice or take classes, but I definitely listen to music.
So we were talking about your Carnatic music practice, and is it still on? Do you still sing?
No, I listen to music.
Yeah.
If you are exposed to some kind of classical music learning in the beginning, it helps you understand and appreciate music better in the later years. So I'm just a connoisseur of music.
Okay. People have come to assume that you want BJP to be a Hindu party and be unapologetic about it. But the fact in Kerala is that because of the stranglehold the LDF and the UDF has, BJP is trying to have the support of the minorities, especially the Christians, because that's the way the vote banks are placed. So how would you
see? The BJP is a nationalist party.
Right.
Nation first is our primary ideology. So all those people, irrespective of the religion they belong to, who subscribe to the idea that nation is above everything else, will find a place in the BJP. And as far as Kerala is concerned, to address the big challenges that we are facing of certain radical elements in Kerala, it is very important for the Christian community to join hands with the BJP, because this is the only party that will assure physical security, economic prosperity, and mainstreaming and togetherness of everybody with a nationalist bent of mind. Which is why we are also seeing the Christian community, including very senior churches with respected, religious heads, also coming forward and supporting the BJP in Kerala.
Now, you have said that anybody who is against Narendra Modi ji is against India. And we've seen speeches in Pakistan, calling for the return of the Congress and Rahul Gandhi as Prime Minister.
Well, it just proves my point that the only constituency where the Congress is popular today is in Pakistan. The only support that Congress is getting today is from in Pakistan. The only place where, in the whole world, where people feel that Rahul Gandhi will make a great Prime Minister of India is Pakistan. So this is the position of the Congress party today.
Now, since Smriti Irani ji went to Amethi, Rahul came to Kerala, to Wayanad. Now, the Congress has been, trying hard to feel.
And he has betrayed even the people of Wayanad. In the 5 years that he represented them as MP, I don't think he has come to Wayanad, visited Wayanad more than 10 times. All token visits. I don't think, sir, I'm saying this with a lot of courage of conviction, with a lot of humility. I don't think Rahul Gandhi has done 10% of the work that I have done in my constituency as MP for Bengaluru South. Whether it is infrastructure, whether it is Janaushadhi Kendras, whether it is, addressing the issues of the people, whether it is our MP-led funding, I don't think 10%. So, and look at the way he changed, his stance about not contesting in any other seat. Immediately after elections in Wayanad got over, he ran away again to Raebareli. So Wayanad and South India was a use and throw mechanism for him. So this kind of hypocrisy, this kind of, taking the people for granted, this won't be sustained. I hope, people of Wayanad will also realize this and teach the Congress party a lesson.
Since you mentioned Wayanad, Wayanad has a lot of peculiarities. Special attention, of course, there are the tribals, the Vanvasis, women, children who all need, special help, special care. And while Janam TV met Smriti Irani ji, I asked her, how many proposals, how many projects has he come up with? She said, he has not even spoken with me.
Yeah.
Never raised any demand.
Nothing. I mean, when I'm telling you that he has not visited more than a few times, what work can you do if you are not visiting your constituency, understanding the pulse of the people, the problems of the people?
You have been in Kerala also recently. Your take on the communist, the left regime there, and the prospects of the BJP. There is a lot of hopes now, a lot of optimism.
The communists are history, the BJP is the future. Okay. Across the world, people have rejected the communists, their ideology, their politics in every way. The future is the BJP, whether it is in Kerala or whether it is in any part of the country.
Now, your take on cutting South. Is there a sinister plot being, cooked in Delhi for discrimination against the South, and that there's a narrative being built by certain sections?
Absolutely, sir. If you look at the narratives that the Congress party is trying to come up with, all of them are in one way or the other artificial and trying to create a divide in the country, to exploit artificial fault lines. So the latest is this north-south divide. And it's not that this is something new. The Britishers had tried this. The Dravidianists have tried this. The Marxists have tried this. The responsibility of a political party is to unite the country. As an MP, you take oath on the constitution that you will protect the integrity and sovereignty of the country. And the very same MPs, the very same political parties, the Congress party and its MPs are speaking a language of secession. There cannot be anything more shameful than this. If the Congress party was serious about its commitment to the country's integrity, they would have not given a ticket to MPs who speak this language. But the fact that the Congress party has not only given such MPs tickets, but also encourages such tendencies, goes to show the inherent DNA of the Congress, that is the divisive agenda, the divisive DNA of the Congress. Because at the end of the day, it was the Congress party which divided this country, partitioned this country.
South, North, the very few leaders, very few people from the South who speak Hindi. You speak Hindi so well. When, where, how did you pick up Hindi?
Well, I learned Hindi properly only after party made me Yuva Morcha president.
Okay.
So I learned, I took some classes in Delhi to understand the grammar and the grammatical construction of sentences. But any language, you learn and get better only when you speak the language with people. So after having traveled, in Uttar Pradesh, in Bihar, Rajasthan, and interacting with our colleagues, my Hindi became a little bit better, that's all.
So once again, there's this language war which is, which many people are trying to ignite. Tamil versus Hindi, Kannada versus Hindi, Malayalam versus Hindi. Malayalam probably is probably Kerala is where you find it is the least resistance to Hindi. So even that is with an agenda. Like the people don't have an issue.
Sir, all of these artificial fault lines are being furthered only with the intention to stop the growth of the BJP. Because the BJP essentially means the respect of India's culture, its diversity of languages. This is the core of the BJP. So the only way somebody can prevent the BJP's growth, BJP's rise, is by trying to create these artificial fault lines. So this is the plain agenda behind, opposition to Hindi, opposition to, nationalism, this furthering the agenda of secessionism, etc.
Now, you're credited for transforming BJP's Yuva Morcha. So what have you done different? And I've read about the app, the special training scheme. Can you elaborate on your initiatives?
The Prime Minister believes that the Yuva Morcha is essentially the training ground for tomorrow's leaders of the party. So we have given a lot of focus to training the cadre with respect to the policies, the ideas of the party and governance, etc. So we launched what is called as a Sushasan Yatra. We took more than 2,000, 2,500 of our cadre all across the country to different states, gave them exposure to best practices of governance, made them meet with our chief ministers. We started an app through which our cadre is now exposed to learning the ideology of the party, the current affairs of the party. They can take master classes. We have conducted workshops all across the country to train our cadre with these things. In addition to that, when all of these states which we are in opposition, whether it is in West Bengal, whether it is in Chhattisgarh, whether it is in Telangana, in all of these states, the BJYM has always been at the forefront of leading agitations on youth issues, whether it is the CGPSC, scam in Chhattisgarh, whether it is the teacher recruitment scam in West Bengal. All of these, youth-related issues we have, raised them. To encourage young voters, first-time voters, we organized the world's largest first-time voters meet and, interaction with the Prime Minister. At 5,000 places in the country, 1,000 people in all of these locations, 50 lakh people at the same time connected with the Prime Minister. After abrogation of Article 370, we hoisted the tricolour for the first time at Lal Chowk and undertook a bike rally from Kargil to Srinagar. So we have done so many initiatives of this kind the last 3 years in the Yuva Morcha. So it has been a phenomenal experience interacting with young people across the country, giving them a platform to groom their leadership and hone their leadership skills.
You're a youth icon. You're so popular amongst youngsters across the nation. This is not a compliment I'm giving you in return for the interview, but it's a fact. I've read about this. I've watched interviews. I've watched television programs. This also puts you under the scanner. Does that put extra pressure on you?
Well, sir, like I told in the very beginning, you are holding a position of responsibility. You also are looked up to by your cadre, by young people. There is so much of faith that your voters have put in you. So definitely, one should be very conscious of our actions, of the way that we conduct ourselves. I think anybody in a position where you are seen or looked up to by people, it is important for you to hold certain, conduct yourself in a certain way.
A couple of quick questions. I know people are waiting for you. One is this controversy. The Congress is pointing fingers at the BJP for this Prajwal Revanna sex scandal. How do you look at it? Congress is accusing BJP.
Who is in power in Karnataka today? It is the Congress party. Law and order is a state subject. So the responsibility primarily lies with the state government. Anything else is a blame game. So
Okay.
it is primarily the state government's responsibility.
അങ്ങനെ തേജസ്വി സൂര്യയുടെ അഭിമുഖം കാണണമെന്ന് ആവശ്യപ്പെട്ട ജനൻ ടി വിയുടെ പ്രേക്ഷകർക്കായി ഇതാ തേജസ്വി സൂര്യ തിരക്കിട്ട തെരഞ്ഞെടുപ്പ് പ്രചാരണത്തിനിടയിൽ ജനം ടി വിക്ക് നൽകിയ പ്രത്യേക അഭിമുഖം. നമസ്തേ.